from Guatemala. Today, the Amazon Alliance stands in solidarity with our brothers and sisters worldwide, because we defend the territories and the rights of our indigenous and traditional peoples of the Amazon. Because the livelihoods and traditions of our brothers and sisters are dying, because the land is dying. We are a network of both indigenous and traditional organizations worldwide, including Guyana, Suriname, Colombia, Venezuela, Bolivia, French Guiana, Peru, Ecuador, Brazil, and NGOs worldwide. Because of our mission to protect the Amazon while ensuring a political and human rights sphere for indigenous peoples, it is our duty to call member states to support the UN Declaration for the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Because in the absence of these rights, governments continue to profit by exploiting the resources while willfully disregarding our fundamental freedoms of these rights. These rights have been protected by the ILO 169. The declaration would give major advancements to give political will and support for the rights to self-determination and shield from discrimination. Indigenous peoples, including myself and my brothers and sisters here, would have an instrument to maintain and strengthen our way of life in harmony with our traditions and our needs. We are focused on increasing political will for member states to negotiate in good faith, and for this, we ask for international solidarity.
Human rights hypocrisy, native rights now. Human rights hypocrisy, native rights now.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bruno, and I'm going to read a statement on behalf of the Rainforest Action Network in support of the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. For hundreds of years, the basic human rights of the world's indigenous and traditional peoples have been violated, and the time has come, finally, for a change. The UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People provides a vehicle for that change. I can't speak any louder. Rainforest Action Network strongly supports the Declaration and encourages all members of the UN General Assembly to do the same. RAN finds it appalling that countries like Canada, New Zealand, and Australia, which is in this building, we find it appalling that they're opposing the Declaration and even encouraging other countries, such as Indonesia, Kenya, and others, to join them. We challenge these countries to take a look at their own records on the environment and human rights and to do the right thing. It's not too late for them to support the UN Declaration. We all know that indigenous people inhabit some of the most intact and most important ecosystems, diverse ecosystems on the planet, from the Amazon to the boreal forests of Canada. Unfortunately, brutal logging practices in Canada and the expansion of giant agribusiness and tropical forests are directly impacting the survival of indigenous communities. In the Amazon alone, there are 200,000 indigenous people whose traditional territories are threatened by large-scale agribusiness, by oil and mining, illegal logging, and dams. In Indonesia, palm oil plantations threaten the traditional territories of 1.4 million Dayak indigenous people. These communities are counting on our support so that their rights and traditional territories are respected. Indigenous people have worked for nearly 25 years to get this declaration passed. They've waited long enough. Rainforest Action Network stands in support of our indigenous allies until this declaration is passed. Thank you very much.
The refusal of a few states
to move forward with this declaration is nothing less than shameful. The refusal of a few states to work cooperatively with others to advance the human rights of Indigenous peoples not only puts in jeopardy this declaration, which is of vital importance to 370 million Indigenous women, men, and children around the world, I would say as well, it brings shame on the entire United Nations system. Let me read to you two brief quotations. We begin with a quotation from the Director of Amnesty International, Irene Khan. The Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples presents an inspiring vision of a collaboration and reconciliation among Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples, working together to advance the rights of all. Implementation of this vision will not be easy. It will be an uphill struggle to undo centuries of prejudice and discrimination. But that, in fact, has been the goal of this whole long process since the drafting of the Declaration began more than 2 decades ago. Let's adopt the Declaration now.
On behalf of the International Forum on Globalization, I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming and joining this mass action. We really think this is a historical event because it's the first time that we are able to come out and shame these countries who are actively opposing the adoption of the Declaration. And of course, on behalf of the Indigenous peoples who are all here, I would also like to thank the non-government organization representatives who are here to lend their support to us. I think we were able to give our message loud and clear, and we look forward to having the Declaration adopted maybe 2 weeks from now. And we will give you the news on its adoption, and we will all celebrate that in spite of the opposition of these countries, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Russia, and Colombia, the Indigenous peoples are going to prevail, and the states who are supporting them are going to prevail. Thank you very much, and a good day.
We can't hear you. Sorry.
I'm the Deputy Permanent Representative for Australia to the UN.
This is Frances, what's your name?
Frances Lisson.
Frances Lisson, the Deputy Permanent Representative of Australia to the United Nations, and we're very grateful that you've come to accept our letter today. Could you say a few words to our people who are gathered here?
So to say thank you very much, and I've been presented with a petition and a letter, and I will look at this very carefully, and I will convey this to my government in Australia, where they are considering at the moment their position, and they will take this duly into account. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for your input.
Please wait 1 minute. We have the to give you the right.
Time to come down and see us, and we want this letter. We appreciate it very much.
We appreciate you coming, and we want to let you know that we really want to see Australia join the other nations on the right side of on this one. We do not want to have to call you a hypocrite. We want to have Australia join with us, be with us, and support its Indigenous people. We're very grateful for you coming to listen to us, to receive our letter from over 24 non-governmental organizations supporting Indigenous people from around the world in dozens and dozens of countries representing millions of people. We appreciate you coming, and we appreciate you even more expressing our deep concerns to the government of Australia. You still have time before September 13th to join the other nations of the world and to come down in support of Indigenous rights, and we implore you to do so. So thank you for coming, and we hope that you will carry this message back to all the officials and people responsible for making these decisions throughout the government of Australia. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.